I'm about to start my 10th year of calisthenics. I've competed all over the world. I've won, I've lost, I've judged, torn my bicep, come back from it. I've dealt with injuries, plateaus, and I've spent thousands of hours training calisthenics in gyms and parks all over the world. And if I could go back to day one and give myself a few lessons, here's what I would say. Number one, stress, recovery, adaptation. If I had to boil down the entire sport of calisthenics to one single concept, it would be SRA, stress, recovery, adaptation. In essence, everything that we do in this sport comes back to this exact concept. You put your body under stress, you allow your body to recover, and then your body adapts so that it can withstand more of the stress that you're putting it under. It's a very simple concept, but from that concept comes all of progress in calisthenics. And I think it's also a concept that permeates calisthenics into life in general. Like our bodies, our systems have an incredible ability, and it is to adapt. So the game is played in how you put the body under stress. What are the most effective ways to put the body under stress? What are the best ways to facilitate your body's recovery so that your body can do what it naturally knows how to do? The magical concept of adaptation. Your body is built to adapt to stress. Most people think progress happens during training. It doesn't. Training is where you create the demand, and recovery is where your body supplies the demand that you created. So when you're training, you're basically telling your body, this is what I need you to become capable of. And the biggest mistake I see people do is they think it's all about stress. More sets, more reps, more training, more intensity. But without recovery, adaptation never happens. On the contrary, if your rate of stress exceeds your rate of recovery, eventually you're gonna get injured. So it's a very interesting concept for you to start getting familiar with, because the same thing that is going to lead to the progress and the results that you're looking for, if you don't do it right with the right amount of finesse, is actually gonna lead you to get injured, to plateau, or to waste a lot of time in training. So not only is it about putting stress on the body so that the body can recover and adapt, it's how you put stress on the body. There's a finesse to it. And also, as you get into more and more advanced skills, general stress doesn't cut it anymore. You need hyper-specific stress. Just by going down the one rabbit hole of really trying to understand SRA, you will eventually understand the whole game of calisthenics, because it'll open doors like, okay, what is the best way to put stress on my body for this particular thing that I'm doing? What's the best cadence at which I should be putting stress on my body? What's the best thing that I should do to facilitate the recovery of my body for these things that I'm trying to learn? So that alone is going to make you look at your whole practice of calisthenics differently. It's going to make you look at things that you wouldn't normally look at, start to gather data in your head, and it's going to make you a much better calisthenics athlete. Think about this, bro. You don't build a penthouse without building the foundation first and then the building. So you don't go straight from nothing to like a full planche. You have to build it step by step by incrementally putting stress on the body and letting the body adapt. It's like an ascending ladder of SRA, but every single step follows the same rule. You put stress, you facilitate the recovery, adaptation happens, and then you progressively overload.
Guys, ISN is back, and I'm gonna be there again this year. And if you wanna go and meet me, all your favorite athletes, you wanna see all the hype, buy a ticket and use my code, bro, come on.
Step number 2, before you learn anything, learn how to learn. The most valuable skill in calisthenics isn't a planche or a front lever or sat or Maltese. It's learning how to learn calisthenics skills. Every single calisthenics skill is different, but the way to learn them is pretty much the same. But when you're online, most people are going to teach you how to learn a particular skill, or they're going to give you particular tips based on their experience or what they've seen with their clients, or they're going to give you a program. But the most valuable skill you can learn is how to learn calisthenics, because it gives you an understanding of the processes of this sport. So you can start gathering data for yourself, building your own training intuition, and getting better at calisthenics on your own. Even if you do work with a coach, you still want to understand why you're doing what you're doing, so that later down the line, you have autonomy, you have freedom, and you can start to learn things for yourself. And I've talked about this in so many of my videos, but I'm gonna break it down to you one more time. Every skill follows the same framework. Understand the skill, theoretically, understand what it is you are trying to do, map out the physical work that needs to be done, whether it's primary strength training exercises, whether it's volume work, optimization work, accessory work, so all the physical work, figure out what that is and start doing it. In parallel, start doing attempts. Eventually, you will unlock the skill. Once you unlock the skill, normalize it by incorporating it more and more into your working sets, and eventually you will master it. So the best advice I can give you, bro, is just go down the rabbit hole and learn how to learn. There's so much advice on the internet. I personally have built my entire brand around this principle-based learn how to learn calisthenics for yourself. I have a great ebook if you want to invest in some knowledge. The information is out there, bro, and it is the highest return investment you can make is learning how to learn calisthenics, because the sport is pretty much free. It's the world's most accessible sport. You can drop down to the ground and start training calisthenics now. The most valuable thing is knowledge and information. So if you're gonna invest in anything, invest in that and focus your time on learning how to learn calisthenics. Because once you start looking at the game like that, you're gonna start to absorb the game differently. And who knows, bro, one of these days you might be the person who realizes something new, brings it to the table for the whole community to level up. All right, lesson number 3. Manage your expectations. You know how you know something is real? Is when you keep coming back to the same realization over and over again for years. Expectation management is everything. Most of the time, you're not weak, you don't suck, you don't have a strength problem, you have an expectation problem. Your expectation determines your experience. Let me give you a very simple example. You ever wake up and you're like, dude, I'm gonna have the best sesh of my life today. I'm gonna hit this, I'm gonna PR, and then you go to the sesh and it just fucking sucks. And then you ever have days where you're like, oh, I didn't sleep enough. I'll just go train, whatever. And then you have one of the best sessions of your life. Don't lie to me, you've been through that before. That alone should prove to you that there's something going on with expectations. The expectations you have of yourself are very often the reason you find yourself disappointed. And the problem is that the part of your brain that sets expectation doesn't understand nuance. It's very easy to understand nuance when your friend is talking to you about his problems. He's telling you something and it's easy for you to give him perspective and see the situation for what it is. But when it's you, when it's your training, your level tied to your identity, it's like we become dumb. Bro, it's like we can't see weight fluctuation, accumulated fatigue, changes in our nervous system, recovery, stress. We don't see none of that. We just say, oh, last week I did 3 presses and today I can only do 2, so I suck, so I'm not as good as I thought I was, so now I'm upset. Because your sense of identity is so tied to your level. But I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, that is such a dumb way to look at things, and I will be the first to say I am guilty of it. The problem is you are not looking at the nuance of the situation. Like maybe last week you did 3 presses, but maybe this week you're 5 pounds heavier and you can only do 2. Does that mean you're weaker? I don't think so, because 5 pounds of mass in your midsection makes a huge difference on the torque you have to produce to planche press. So in essence, bro, if you can do 2 planche presses at this weight, it's the equivalent of doing 3 planche presses 5 pounds lighter. And then if you can work your way up to 3 presses at that weight, that heavier weight, then you're actually significantly stronger than you were when you were doing 3 at the lighter weight. But that part of yourself that sets expectations, that ties your identity to your level, is not that smart, and it is not able to see this whole situation. And so what happens, bro? You end up getting caught in this loop of like, oh, you're not meeting your expectation of yourself, and so now you're disappointed. And since you're disappointed, you end up not having a good energy in the session. You end up not giving yourself to the max. You end up getting sad. You end up fucking off and going home. Or you end up even getting into this long period of just like being disappointed in calisthenics. Shit, some people might end up quitting calisthenics in periods like that, which is really sad. because it's not a smart and mature way to look at the game. And that's no condemnation or judgment. I'm telling you, bro, I'm one of the first people to be guilty of that. It happens to us. It's like our brain does it, but you need to level up above that, bro. And you need to be conscious of what's happening, and you need to learn to manage your expectations. That doesn't mean just like always be soft and don't care about your levels. No, of course you care. You care for a reason, because you want to get good. But that doesn't mean like get upset. Put your expectations in context. Try to analyze the situation for what it is. Trust the process and keep showing up to training. Many times you'll realize that you'll go through a shit period and then you'll have like a jump in level. And it's because your body made the adaptation. And when you are blind and you don't understand all these concepts that I'm talking about of SRA and managing your expectations and learning how to learn and the processes of like learning skills and stuff like that, you get lost. You don't know. Like, you might be heavier, accumulated a lot of fatigue, haven't adapted to the skill yet, and you show up to training and you feel like total shit and you're like, man, I suck, and you get discouraged. And that just might be like a random coincidence that all of those things coincided on the same day. You just can't tell the difference. You have no eyes for nuance. On the other hand, you might have a perfect storm day where you're like, you wake up, you're like 5 pounds lighter. I don't know, you didn't have too much sodium last week. You lost a lot of water weight in your sleep. Your body adapted. You might have rested like on Sunday without even fucking thinking about it. And then you show up to training and you're adapted, you're 5 pounds lighter, and all of a sudden you can do 2 more presses than you did last time. And you feel like you're on top of the world. But still, if you don't know why it happened, it's just random, right? But once you start having eyes to see, understanding the game, learning how to learn, learning what your expectations are doing to you in your brain, learning about the SRA curve, watching it, watching your body go through it over time. Once you have all of that in place, the game will make so much more sense to you, bro. So this is what I would tell myself if I could go back 9 years in time to my first year of calisthenics. And this is not stuff that I learned in one training cycle, not stuff that I learned in a year. This is literally nearly a decade in this sport of observing the game consciously. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want a really good resource to get better at calisthenics, you should cop my ebook down below. Either way, I love you guys, and I will see you next time.